how is climate change affecting wildfire? It is creating bigger, more complex wildland fires across the western United States in Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, and even the Pacific Northwest. We're seeing really massive fires. And so it's hotter, it's drier. Parts of the desert Southwest are about 6 degrees warmer than they were maybe 50 years ago. You may need to check my science there, but that is a particular section of the lower 48 where things are especially hot, and the drought in those regions are, really substantial.
And so you see higher temperatures, more destructive storms, higher winds, lack of precipitation. This is a snowball effect. The fuels are drying out faster. They're drying out to a moisture content that's just unheard of, unseen. And you can track that. There's an algorithm that firefighters use where you track the moisture content. Just that tree out there, for an example. The moisture content of that tree can tell you a little something about the likelihood of a fire occurring, and if it does occur, how bad it's going to be. And so if we see climate continue to be hotter and drier, then we're going to continue to see these catastrophic fire events, because the moisture content of the fuel loads is just, it's like tinder, it's like matchsticks. So I've only been in the wildland game for 12 years, and I think the biggest change we've seen overall is the duration of the season. It used to be a defined event. It wouldn't happen before April, and it typically wouldn't happen after October, maybe November, right? That was it. That was the season. Everybody could sort of plan around that. Federal agencies could hire people and let them know how long they were going to be working there. You could plan the number of resources you needed, and so it was a defined event. It was a part of the year. California's seen it for a long time, where it's a year-round situation. Colorado got their first taste of it a year ago, when on December 30th, they had the biggest fire, most destructive fire we've ever had, the Marshall Fire, right before New Year's. And so we had fought some wildland fire in December on rare occasion, but the season is almost year-round in this part of the country. So I think there's a couple of different ways that the average person could prevent wildland or forest fires from happening. One, don't do stupid stuff, right? That's the best advice my parents ever gave me, and that's advice I would give anybody. All this stuff you learned as a kid about not playing with matches and fire being a tool and not a toy, and all that stuff applies. There's stuff that happens that's just not, act of God kind of stuff. You're not going to prevent it. Lightning strikes, the squirrel and his poor mishap with the power line. Accidents are going to happen. But if we could eliminate the human factor, then we'd see a significant reduction, I think, in wildland starts. So if you want to do your due diligence about going on a camping trip or whatnot, and whether or not it's safe, almost 100% of the time you're going to be able to find information out there about whether the county or the state park or the national park or wherever it is you're going, they're going to have some sort of regulation in place that says either you can or you can't. And so the very best thing you could do is just adhere to those. If there's a rule there, it's in place for a reason. It's probably named after some poor guy. Follow the rules, right? If you go camping in a recreation area or a national park or what have you, and they have a fire ban in effect, Colorado's really good about publicizing that. When Boulder County, when Larimer County go into fire restrictions, they publicize the heck out of that. So the first thing you could do is just follow the rules. If it is permitted, you still have to do some due diligence about making sure, don't leave it unattended. Use a natural or man-made fire ring if there's one available to you. If there's not, then create one. Scrape off the surface layer of grass, dead and down limbs, branches, leaves, that sort of thing. Get that stuff out of the way. You want bare dirt You want to surround it with rocks or some other inflammable item like a steel fire ring or something to that effect. There's things that the layperson could do to prevent, that from getting out of hand. I think it starts with following the rules and not leaving it unattended. And I wish the other thing, and I don't mean to be callous when I say it, but I wish people understood if you build $1 million homes in the forest, they're going to burn. There are things you can do, and defensible spaces around your property, and there are absolutely things you can do to manage your risk. But it's a naturally occurring event. It's part of the normal cycle. And the further out we build these homes, the more likely we are going to see assets at risk.
Yeah, so folks that live in areas that are prone to wildland fire can do mitigation on their property, and so avoid planting certain types of plants or trees, or consider hardscaping, whether it's sand or dirt or some sort of landscaping that is more conducive to the environment. And many municipalities, they actually require those sorts of things in wildfire prone zones, but others don't. So that's something that they can personally do. Reconsider building a house in the forest or close to a fire area. It sounds like a nice idea, but the thing is, those fires have to burn naturally. And when we build a house out there, then wildland firefighters have to go out and protect that structure. That's primarily what we're doing, is protecting structures.